this episode, we look at what happens after an incident has been identified and investigated enough for the organization to act. This part of incident response includes containment, isolation, eradication, recovery, reporting, negotiation considerations, lessons learned, and root cause analysis, RCA. These activities matter because finding the problem is only the beginning. Once a team believes an incident is real, it has to stop the harm from spreading, remove the cause, restore systems safely, communicate with the right people, and learn what needs to change. The hard part is that these steps often happen under pressure. Systems may be down, leaders may want answers, users may be affected, and evidence may still be incomplete. A strong response process helps you move carefully without freezing. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is part of our companion study series. The first book is a detailed study guide that explains the exam and helps you prepare for it with confidence. The second is a Kindle-only ebook with 1,000 flashcards you can use on your mobile device or Kindle for quick review. You can find both at Cyber.Me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. Containment is the effort to limit the damage from an incident while the team continues to understand what is happening. It does not always mean fixing the whole problem immediately. It means reducing the attacker's ability to keep moving, keep stealing data, keep disrupting services, or keep using compromised access. Containment actions can be temporary or longer term. A temporary action might block a suspicious connection, disable a compromised account, remove a system from the network, or restrict access to a sensitive application. A longer-term containment approach might involve segmenting parts of the network, changing firewall rules, forcing password resets, or limiting access while a deeper investigation continues. Containment is about buying control and time. It gives the organization a safer position from which to continue the response. Isolation is a specific containment technique that separates an affected system, account, application, or network segment from the rest of the environment. If a workstation is suspected of running malware, isolating it can keep the malware from communicating or spreading. If a server is behaving suspiciously, isolation can prevent additional connections while evidence is preserved. If an account appears compromised, disabling sessions or blocking access can isolate that identity from resources. Isolation sounds simple, but it requires judgment. Disconnecting a system too quickly may destroy volatile evidence or interrupt an important business function. Waiting too long may give an attacker more time. A good response team weighs what is known, what is at risk, what evidence may be lost, and what operational impact the isolation will cause. Containment and isolation should be coordinated because unplanned action can create confusion. If one person blocks access without telling the investigation team, analysts may lose visibility into attacker behavior or misunderstand why activity suddenly stopped. If a system owner restores a machine before evidence is collected, important details may disappear. If a network team changes routing without documentation, later timeline analysis may become harder. Coordination does not mean doing nothing until every question is answered. It means communicating before and after major actions, recording what was done, and making sure decisions match the incident priorities. During a serious event, the response team may need a central leader or incident commander who keeps actions aligned. That coordination helps contain the incident while preserving enough information to understand it. Eradication comes after containment has reduced the immediate danger. Eradication means removing the cause of the incident from the environment. That might involve deleting malware, closing a vulnerable service, patching a weakness, removing unauthorized accounts, rotating exposed credentials, correcting a cloud misconfiguration, or rebuilding a compromised system. The key is that eradication should address what allowed the incident to continue, not just what was easiest to see. If a malicious file is removed but the stolen password remains active, the attacker may return. If a server is rebuilt but the vulnerable application is deployed again with the same weakness, the incident may repeat. Eradication requires the team to connect evidence with action. The organization needs to remove the attacker's foothold and reduce the path that made the incident possible. Recovery is the process of bringing systems, services, data, and operations back to a trusted working state. Recovery may include restoring from backups, rebuilding systems, validating configurations, testing applications, reconnecting isolated devices, re-enabling accounts, and returning users to normal workflows. The word trusted matters here. A system should not be returned to production simply because it turns on. The team needs confidence that the compromise has been removed, required patches or changes are applied, monitoring is active, and the system is behaving as expected. Recovery also needs coordination with business owners because technical readiness and business readiness are not always the same thing. A database may be restored technically, but users may need validation that records are accurate before normal operations resume. Backups play an important role in recovery, but backups are not automatically safe just because they exist. During an incident, the team needs to know when the backup was created, whether it was affected by the incident, whether it can be restored, and whether restoring it would bring the weakness back. If ransomware encrypted systems on Friday, a backup from Thursday may be useful, but only if the attacker did not already have access before then. If a misconfiguration exposed data for weeks, restoring yesterday's configuration may not solve the underlying problem. Recovery planning should include regular backup testing, protected backup storage, documented restoration steps, and clear decisions about recovery priorities. A backup that has never been tested is more like a hope than a reliable recovery capability. Negotiation considerations may appear in incidents involving extortion, ransomware, stolen data, or threats to publish information. This is a difficult area because it combines technical risk, business pressure, legal concerns, ethics, insurance, public communication, and sometimes law enforcement. The security team should not treat negotiation as a purely technical decision. The organization may need legal counsel, executive leadership, cyber insurance contacts, crisis communication support, and law enforcement input. Paying an attacker may not guarantee data recovery, silence, or future safety. Refusing to pay may also carry business and human consequences, depending on the situation. The important exam-level idea is that negotiation decisions require a controlled process, not an improvised conversation. Evidence, legal obligations, financial risk, and public impact all need to be considered before anyone engages. Law enforcement may become involved when an incident includes criminal activity, extortion, fraud, data theft, or threats to public safety. Contacting law enforcement can help connect the organization with broader intelligence, investigative support, and reporting channels. It can also create additional requirements for evidence handling and communication. The organization should know ahead of time who is authorized to make that contact and what information should be shared. During a stressful incident, random employees should not independently contact outside agencies with incomplete details. A coordinated approach protects the investigation and helps the organization speak accurately. Law enforcement involvement does not replace internal response. The organization still has to contain, eradicate, recover, and support affected people. Outside help can be valuable, but the internal team remains responsible for managing its own environment. External reporting may be required when an incident affects regulators, customers, partners, vendors, insurers, or other stakeholders. The need to report depends on the type of incident, the data involved, the contracts in place, the industry, and legal obligations. A privacy-related incident may require notification to affected individuals or oversight bodies. A third-party service incident may require notice to customers or business partners. A cyber insurance policy may require prompt notification to preserve coverage. External reporting should be accurate, timely, and coordinated. Reporting too early with unverified claims can create confusion. Reporting too late can violate obligations and damage trust. This is why incident preparation should include notification decision paths. The organization should know who evaluates reporting requirements, who approves messages, and who communicates externally. Internal reporting is just as important because leaders need clear information to make decisions. Technical teams may understand the details of malware, logs, credentials, and systems, but executives need to know impact, risk, options, and trade-offs. A good internal report explains what is known, what is not yet known, what actions have been taken, what systems or data may be affected, what decisions are needed, and what the next steps are. The report should avoid exaggeration and avoid false certainty. It should separate confirmed facts from working assumptions. Internal reporting also supports accountability after the incident. If the organization later reviews the response, clear records help explain why certain decisions were made. Good reporting does not distract from response. It makes the response easier to lead, coordinate, and improve. Post-incident activity begins once the immediate crisis is under control, but it should not be treated as optional cleanup. This is where the organization turns the incident into learning. A post-incident review looks at what happened, how the team responded, what worked, what failed, and what should change. It may review detection speed, escalation, communication, containment, evidence preservation, recovery time, tool performance, decision quality, and stakeholder involvement. The tone matters. A useful review is honest and practical, not a search for someone to blame. People are more likely to share real problems when the process focuses on improvement. If the review becomes a punishment exercise, the organization may learn less because people become defensive or hide mistakes. The goal is to make the next response stronger. Lessons learned should lead to specific improvements. It is not enough to say that communication should be better or monitoring should improve. The organization should decide what needs to change, who owns the change, when it should happen, and how success will be measured. A lesson may become a new detection rule, an updated playbook, a revised escalation path, a patching improvement, a backup test, a tabletop exercise, a vendor requirement, or an access review. Some lessons may involve technology, while others involve process or training. The response team may learn that a contact list was outdated, a log source was missing, a privileged account had too much access, or a recovery step took longer than expected. Each lesson should become an action that reduces future risk. RCA is the process of identifying the underlying reason an incident happened, not just the visible symptom. If malware ran on a workstation, the symptom may be the infected device. The root cause might be a phishing email, weak email filtering, missing endpoint controls, excessive user permissions, or a lack of user reporting habits. If data was exposed from cloud storage, the symptom may be public access. The root cause might be a weak deployment process, missing review, unclear ownership, or poor default settings. RCA asks why the problem was possible and why controls did not prevent or detect it sooner. This matters because fixing symptoms alone can leave the organization vulnerable to the same kind of incident again. The main takeaway is that response does not end when the team finds the incident. Containment limits damage, and isolation separates affected systems or accounts so the threat cannot easily spread. Eradication removes the attacker's access, malware, weakness, or misconfiguration. Recovery returns systems and operations to a trusted state, using backups and validation where needed. Negotiation considerations require careful leadership, legal, and risk-based decisions, especially when extortion or ransomware is involved. Reporting keeps internal and external stakeholders informed with accurate, controlled information. Law enforcement may be part of the response when criminal activity or broader risk is involved. Lessons learned, NRCA turn the incident into a stronger future defense. A mature organization does not only survive incidents. It uses them to improve how it protects people, systems, and data.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit BareMetalCyber.com.